Nottoway Plantation in White Castle has been declared a total loss after a massive fire yesterday afternoon. Officials are now working to clear the remains of the historic site. Jordan Ponzio joins us live in Naperville Parish as that cleanup continues.
Brittany, it's now been over 24 hours since that fire started, and the fire marshal's office is here currently investigating the cause of that fire that completely destroyed the Nottoway Plantation mansion. That fire started a little after 2 p.m. yesterday in the south wing of the mansion. 10 different fire departments responded to the fire. After the first couple of hours, it seemed that it was contained until high winds caused it to re-spark. I was out here this morning through around 1 o'clock, and the White Castle Fire Department were still dousing the structure with water as hot spots kept arising. I spoke with the parish president, Chris Daigle, today, who said the 166-year-old plantation did not stand a chance against this blaze.
An old facility like this is that old cypress material, right? It's what the installations are built out of. And once something like this gets going, it's really hard to stop.
Now, the cause of that fire is still under investigation. We will, of course, give you that update when we get it. Reporting live in White Castle, Jordan Ponzio, WBRZ News 2.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 6. Ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord. For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thy soul, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Alright, so first and foremost, Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash, Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahweh Shai, Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahweh Shai, Barakata, Yahweh, Barakata, Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Double salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, which is the sisters that listening and learning. This edification is titled, This is Just a Preview of the Upcoming Main Event. Yeah? This is just a preview of the upcoming main event. Burn, Babylon, burn. Yeah? Burn, Babylon, burn. That's what we saw there, pursuant to that clip there. Well, this happened a while, about a week or two, maybe 2 weeks back. But I just getting the opportunity here now, to get it done, to get edification done on it. And that was a beautiful sight. That was just a precursor, a preview of what is actually going to take place with America in its entirety. Alright? In its entirety. That burning down of that plantation structure that we had built, our ancestors had built, alright, by the way of slavery, alright, that was just a preview of what is really to come, the up and coming main event, which is America being burnt in its entirety by the way of thermal nuclear warfare. You get it? Thermal nuclear warfare. That was a beautiful sight to see that. Something in which Esau had so much pride themselves in having, you know. So much so had pride themselves in having. Alright. That plantation structure there that they well preserved. Yeah, that they had well preserved and turned it into a resort and what have you, so forth, you know. Yeah, the burning down of it. That there was a serious heartbreak for Esau. Boy, oh boy, it was a heartbreak for Esau. Yeah? They pride themselves on it. It was a monument, you know, that they wear upon themselves as a chain on their neck. Yeah? As an emblem. Alright? That plantation was an emblem. You know, a memorial of according to the king right now, Trump, that was a memorial of when America was great. The height of its success. Yeah? The height of its success. That is what it is. Alright? But Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, what he did, he burnt it down. It's the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai that burnt it down. Just to give them a preview of what is actually to come. Alright? What is actually to come. And we give praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? We give praises and honor and glory. There is what it is. This plantation there is a reminder of us and a reminder of the curses. Alright? Because when I go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29, but the point where I want to get at is actually in verse 30, but 29, alright, where it reads, Deuteronomy 28, 29, alright, put this here, so good. It says, and thou shalt grope at noondays, as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Alright? And thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house. This is the point. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Alright? Morning. We built that house during slavery. Alright? We built that house. Built Massa's house during slavery. Alright? That house was the big house, according to Stephen in Django. Stephen, the house nigga. Yeah? Played by what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson. You know, when Django came, you know, and Calvin, alright, which was played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Alright, he he told Stephen, you know, let's show some good southern hospitality. You know, we're gonna have him. We're gonna accommodate Django in the big house. And he was like, the big house? Big house? You understand? Yeah, the big house. We built that. We built Master's house, but did we have the opportunity to dwell in it? Hey, we built the White House. All right? It was slaves that built the White House. All right? It was slaves that built the White House. Did we have the opportunity to dwell in it? And don't say Obama, because Obama is not our people. Obama is a blasted Hamite. All right? Obama is of the lineage of Ham. So, we didn't have the opportunity to dwell in it. We didn't have the luxury to dwell in it. All right? Because what? We are second class. We are not even second class. We are 3/5 of a man, as what they class us. Still to this day. All right? Still to this day. Okay? So as it says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes, right, thereof. And these are the things that we had was to endure. All right? These are the things that we had was to endure. Including verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. These are the things that we had was to go through. All right? These are the things that we had was to go through. And what you're seeing now is that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai is exacting his revenge. Little by little, slowly but surely, they are being revenged. Revenged is they are being avenged. We are being avenged, as I should say. The Lord is taking vengeance on our behalf. This is something beautiful, when things like that, and tornadoes ravaging through their cities, great floods and massive earthquakes, and the destruction of infrastructure and all these things, and their opioid crisis among their people and whatnot and so forth. We rejoice off of that. This is something for us to rejoice at, because these are the things that they had exacted upon us. The wickedness, the using of our children for gator bait, yeah. All the atrocities that we go through in slavery. All right, the gator bait, the pain of anguish. All right, and many other things, many other things that my mind can't really come to recall right now, but you all know. You all know. And they know. They know all what they had done unto us. All right, so what you have is that the Lord is sending plague after plague after plague after plague. Just as how he had plagued Egypt. All right, just as how he had plagued Egypt. It's the same thing that he's doing with this new Egypt here. The spiritual Egypt, the spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Where he's just sending plagues after plagues after plagues after plagues. And destroying them from within. Until the ultimate plague, the ultimate destruction come about, which is what? Thermonuclear fire. That is what it is, man. You understand? They had a good time They had a good time, all right, in reaping riches off of us. A real good time. You understand? But the Lord is recompensing now. There's what's going on. That's why when I go to Sirach, let's take a look at Sirach. Sirach 21. Sirach 21 and 8, where it reads, He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. Yeah? This is what they did. They builded their house. And when I say house, not just that literal house, that plantation house. We are talking about their cities. All right? We are talking about their nation. All right? Their race. That they could be able to call themselves the master race here now. But what the Lord said, he that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. The congregation of the wicked is like two wrapped together, and the end of them is as a flame of fire to destroy them. This is what it is. That's why the Lord said, pursuant to Jeremiah. Jeremiah, let's take a look at that. Jeremiah chapter 21 and 13. Jeremiah 21 and 13. No, 13? No. Or is it 22 and 13? Let me see. 22 and 13 actually, not 21. 22 and 13. Jeremiah chapter 22 and 13, where it reads, Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. They didn't pay us. We still have them dotish niggas talking about 40 acres on a mule. They're waiting on the 40 acres on a mule. Nigga, you ain't gonna get shit from these people. These people despise you since in the garden. These people despise you. Alright? I went all the way back to the garden, that old serpent. They had despised you. You really think that they gonna give you 40 acres on a fucking mule? Well, you keep on waiting on that. America is gonna burn and you keep on waiting on fucking that. But the Lord said, Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, man. Alright? That was just a preview. That house was built. That house was built on free labor. That plantation mansion was built on free labor. Over 150 slaves. Did they receive a penny? Did they receive a salary? A stipend, something? They received nothing. They received nothing. And what we saw there, it was just justice. There were news clips where you're seeing the sad faces on these Edomites when they saw that, something that they hold dear to themselves. The largest plantation, down in the south, the largest plantation mansion. To see that 130 something years of prideful history that they hold so dear to their heart, that emblem, that beacon, has come down to nothing, just bear stubble. Yeah? Just bear stubble. On free labor was it built. Free labor. Alright? They made merchandise of us, man. They made merchandise of us. They waxed rich. Alright? They waxed rich off of that wicked act. And they know what they were doing was wicked. But they don't care. Yeah? When I go to Wisdom of Solomon, let's take a look at Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 15 and verse 12. Wisdom of Solomon 15 and 12. It reads, but they counted our life a pastime, and our time here a market for gain. Alright? A market for gain, for say they, we must be getting every way, though it be by evil means. They know what they were doing, but they could have cared less because the money was too good. Because of slavery, they were able to have institutions such as what they call them thing, insurance firms and what have you, so forth, the banks, yeah, the vast military and what have you, so forth, great infrastructure, big buildings and whatnot, so forth, you know, a so-called strong economy, all right, so-called first world status, because of free labor, because of slavery. All right, but you have now where the Most High is bringing everything to an end. The whole charade is coming to an end. All right, they could have cared less what they were doing to us. The auction block selling our people to plantations here, there, and everywhere. Alright? Us being their property, they being able to do with us as they like because we are their property, and what have you, so forth. There's where it is. There's where it is, man. There's where it is. Yeah? But the Lord is exacting revenge upon them. Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is exacting revenge upon them. Let's take a look at the book of Baruch. Alright? Baruch chapter 4. Baruch chapter 4. Let me see something. Let's see from 8. Alright, I would think I would start from I think I would start from 6. Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6, it says, you were sold to the nations not for your destruction. Alright? Let me see something here. Bear with me. Yeah? Baruch chapter 4 and verse 6, it reads, you were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. Alright? This is the reason why we went through what we went through, because of our disobedience. Okay? For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. For ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought ye up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. You understand? There's what it is. There's what it is. But when you go down to verse 14, It reads, verse 14, it reads, let them that dwell about Zion come and remember ye the captivity of my sons and daughters which the everlasting have brought upon them. For he had brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, and of a strange language, whom neither reverence old man nor pity child. Yeah, these have carried away the dearly beloved children of the widow, and left her that was alone, desolate, without daughters. So a strange nation the Lord had sold us unto. Alright? A nation that could have cared less, a nation that has no pity, a nation that is just ultimately wicked. That's why when you go back to Deuteronomy, same Deuteronomy chapter 28, alright, but verse 49, Deuteronomy 28:49, it reads, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Yeah, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. This is what it is. But we are in a time now where the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is bringing revenge. Alright? And the ultimate revenge is going to be by the way of thermal nuclear fire. Yeah? The Lord is showing us it in scriptures such as Jeremiah 50. Let's take a look at Jeremiah 50 and 22. Jeremiah 50 and 22. The sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Yeah, which is America. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans, which is America. Alright? Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Utterly, utterly, let nothing of her be what? Be left. Alright? Just as how nothing was left of that plantation house is what the Lord is going to do to America in its entirety. That was just a preview. Slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, our power, the vengeance of his tabernacle, of his temple, Salakia, of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, yeah, and all her allies, all that were affiliated with her, all that were in confederacy with her, they're all going to destroy her. Let none of them escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she had done, for she hath been proud against the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all of her men, and all her men of war shall be cut off in the day of the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, power of hosts. For thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee, and the most proud shall be stumbled, yeah, and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Jeremiah 51. Jeremiah 51 and 1. Therefore saith the Lord, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them shall rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners, thermonuclear warheads, that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifted himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken. Yeah? This is the reason why the Lord is doing it, because of Israel. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah? Despite what? The Lord still is going to avenge us. Despite of what? Because why? We are the apple of his eye. Plain and simple. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. Don't be cut off in her iniquity. Don't find yourself in her wickedness, that the Lord will have to destroy you along with her. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are what? Are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Alright? Is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have what? We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go every one to his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even unto the sky. Alright, so her iniquity, alright, has been accomplished. Alright, so the Lord is about to what? To bring judgment. The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua brought forth our righteousness. Come, let us declare in Zion the work of our Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua, our power. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yeah? The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which is Russia, for his devices against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshua, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Yeah? Make the watch strong, set up the watchman, prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. There is where it is, plain and simple. Plain and simple. That is why when I go back to the Baruch 4, and 25 or 22, 25, Baruch 4 and 25, it reads, My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from Yahweh. For thine enemy has persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways, and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. But what the Lord said, Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto Yahweh, for you shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from Yahweh, so be in return seek him 10 times more. For he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy, again with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee. But you know what the Lord said? Verse 31. Miserable are they that afflicted thee, and rejoice at thy fall. Miserable are the cities. Miserable are the cities. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin, and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation. And that's what we saw on their faces when that plantation was burned down to the ground. When that plantation house was burned down to the ground. Yeah? They were grieved. You could see the grief in their faces. For I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall turn into mourning. For fire shall come upon her from the everlasting. Yeah, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. O Jerusalem, look about thee toward the east, and behold the joy that cometh unto thee from Yahweh. Lo, thy sons come, whom thou sentest away. They were gathered together from the east to the west by the word of the Holy One, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, rejoicing in the glory of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yeah, there's where it is. That is why I will leave with this last scripture here. This very last scripture here, which is Revelation chapter 18, and starting from 1. Revelation 18 and 1. And after these things I saw an angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, yeah, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. There's what it is. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Yeah? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. This is where our salvation is coming in, and the elect being gathered in those chariots, yeah man, whilst America is being burnt by thermonuclear fire. Why, Lord? For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh had remembered her iniquities. Yeah? Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled, fell to her double. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously. Yeah? Or for the blood, sweat, tears of our ancestors, both northern and southern kingdom, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. How much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am a widow, and shall see no sorrow. Trump could spend how much he want to spend for that golden dome, whatever it is called. It is going to be of no use. Why? Therefore her plagues shall come in one day, yeah? In one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, thermonuclear fire that is, For strong is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yashai who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who hath committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. For in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more, because why? It has been totally in its entirety been destroyed, from New York up north all the way down south to Florida, from South Carolina stretch all the way across to California. All 4 points of America is going to be totally destroyed. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of dark pearls and of pearls, Salakia, and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all the wood and all the manner vessels of ivory and all manner vessels of most precious wood and of brass and iron and marble and cinnamon and odors and ointment and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. These are the things that America has been enriched by. The Lord is going to make them lose all in 1 hour. And the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off from for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour, so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their head and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy prophets, holy apostles and prophets, Salakia, for Yahweh had avenged you on her. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea. And that great millstone is the missiles, and cast it into the sea, which is the people, and saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And the voice of harpers and musicians, and of pipers and trumpets shall be heard no more at all in thee. No craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all that were slain upon the earth. Hence the reason why such a judgment is going to be brought forth upon her. Again, This is just a preview of the upcoming main event. Burn, Babylon, burn. Kal Halayam, La Alahayanawa, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakah Kodash, Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahushai, Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahushai Barakata, Yahweh Barakata, Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Double salutation unto the brothers for preaching and teaching the truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to do so now more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled bird Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful upward. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp signing out, saying shalom unto the elect. Wa Abad Babal. May Babylon be destroyed. Shalom.